Hey guys, how's it going? Azoh here, and today we'll be looking at the newly announced ZED nerfs on the patch 522 notes. First of all, I just gotta quickly apologize. I am very tired. I've been up for like 60, 55 something hours. Taken a power nap of 4 hours in between that time, and then otherwise just gamed basically. Non-stop rank ladder, because I wanted to try to end season in at least Diamond 1. Did not go very well, but let's just drop that. In either case, I'm pretty tired, so if I'm mumbling or stuttering more than usual, you'll know why. But in either case, the nerf, as it was announced, is that, to paraphrase from the patch notes, ZED W won't hide Q's cast time. While often seen as an quote-unquote advanced technique for ZED, this bug actually just removed the ability to reactivate a shuriken if cast a specific way. ZED's been on the brain for us recently. Stronger marksman equal higher value assassination, but he shouldn't rely on an exploit for power. W Living Shadow. It actually was the deadliest. Fix the bug where quickly casting Living Shadow and Razor Shuriken would cause ZED's Living Shadow to cast instantly instead of using the cast time. Now I know that I've been notorious for overreacting to nerfs in the past, and I do cringe while looking back at some of the Reddit comments I've made in quote-unquote discussions I've had regarding that topic. So this time I'll try to stay as biased as I can. As unbiased as I can. Nice error there. So what will this nerf mean? Well, basically every single poke combo you do will now be slower. If you don't know the difference, I did make a video on the differences between WQE, WEQ, and the slow WEQ. Basically, you'll be making a slower version of WEQ, WQE. You will not make a slow combo every single time, but more like a slow combo every single time. Meaning there will be less double Qs hitting during standard anticipationary pokes, meaning enemy walks up to minions, you attack where they will be, you'll hit them straight on. It'll be much easier to react to the W and dodge, and even right now it is very possible to do it, and I would like to argue before I even move on that there are several abilities that unless you have boots you cannot dodge and search at certain angles, and the same way should go for some skill shots. That's how they are. If you aim them well enough, you hit. It's, you know, it's kind of how the game is, I guess. But in either case, why do I disagree with this nerf? Well, I think it's very interesting that they used the... First of all, I think it's very interesting that they used the stronger marksman equal higher value assassination as an argument. Considering ZED has not in a very long time been like the biggest... like threats for AD carries. Comparatively, any other assassin in mid lane or jungle is a much bigger threat. A Rengar is much scarier than a ZED because ZED has a lot of counterplay back and forth, a lot of items you can build against it unless you're building a Zhonya's on an AD carry. Rengar is gonna fuck you up, or if you're building like full tank. Just one example. So I think using that as an excuse, if that was the intent, I'm not sure if that was the intent, is kind of weak. But, yeah. So moving on, like I said, I know I've been overreacting to nerfs before, but even then, looking back at other nerfs, I've seen much better reasoning than, well, AD carries are getting stronger, so we have to fix this. I don't see the connection if that was the intent. Because also there's the I don't get the incentive to fix the well, quote unquote exploits. Because with ZED's ultimate that was nerfed, I do understand the incentive, and while I disagree with it, I understand where they're coming from. They don't want some assassin just to be able to jump in, burst, and jump out before you can react. You know, like LeBlanc. Or Fizz with Zhonya's. Or, you know, Talon ulting out. Or, you know, Diana killing in 1 second in Zhonya's. Or Rengar, you know, killing in less than a second. But we don't... I understand where they're coming from with that. And fine. Zed's ultimate is nerfed? Okay. I understand the reasoning, but I don't understand the reasoning here. Because Zed is not the most dangerous assassin to AD carries, and he has probably the slowest assassination, like, burst out of all, like, assassins in the game. So in that regard, I don't understand it, because there's just no incentive to it, because I've also never seen anyone complain about his W being too undodgeable, and I've seen all the arguments why Zed should be nerfed in different ways. His W gives you flat stats, and everyone hates flat stats, and I can understand why people hate, like, just straight up, you get extra damage. I understand why that's disliked, and I can understand a nerf to that, because that's not a fun or interesting mechanic. I've seen complaints that he has too much free poke, and he has too much free wave clear, and it's too safe for him, they can jump out, and all these arguments I've understood and can argue back and forth, because there's a point behind them. I don't see the reasoning behind this. I've never seen anyone... I really legit have never seen anyone say it's too hard to dodge Zed's full all-in combo where he uses all of his spells. I've never seen that, because it's just like any other skill shot. Like many other mages in mid have the similar kind of skill shots. And while you can say, well, they use mana, but now we're just in on a completely different topic. It is energy versus mana, and we're not even on the same topic anymore, because now you're arguing, well, is energy broken or not? So I just... Sticking on this specific thing, I just don't understand the incentive for them to nerf this at all. Considering it's not something anyone is hung up on, or is particularly toxic. I'm sorry. I'm gonna trigger so many people by saying toxic, but particularly annoying of a mechanic. Furthermore, Zed arguably is his weakest point, not counting a couple of months ago as well. This is one of his weakest points ever since his creation, I think. So nerfs for him just doesn't feel justified in that way. I just... Like, I can maybe understand the idea that, well, it's an exploit, so we need to fix the exploits. But then again, there are exploits in the game that aren't fixed because they're features. And there's a very thin, very vague line between exploit and feature. So, I don't know. Actually, right, if you're going to fix that, I would love if you fixed the issue that if you're like a little bit too far out of range, your shadows don't copy the Q. If you're gonna, like, if you're all against this kind of thing and you think Zeds should work perfectly, make sure to fix that as well. Because, you know, it's not an exploit, but it's a bug. And I know, you know, it would be nice. We'll see if that happens. But I think that was pretty much it. There's no incentive for it. Because Zed, as I said, is weakest point in the meta. There's no one who's complaining about this, and I've seen all of the complaints about Zed. I have seen them all. All the different ones. Its Q is too much 80% like scaling with it. Too much wave clear, too much AoE, too much single target damage. It's does too well with Bork. I've seen every single negative argument about Zed, and I've never seen anyone say, well, his W is too easy to hit. Like, his poke combos are too easy to hit. That has to be, like, the lowest of the complaints. So, there's no incentive, and there's no... I mean, I guess really is no incentive, because no one's complaining about it. He doesn't need a nerf, he is in a weak spot. Other assassins, if the argument is that, well, we want 80 carries to bloom now, to become very strong, so we can't have assassins doing too good of a job, well, newsflash, Zed is like the weakest assassin for taking out 80 carries in the game. Not in the entire game, but out of the big ones you think about, he is one of the weakest ones because he has clear-cut counterplay and has to dedicate completely with a little bit of no failsafe for the little bit of time. But comparatively, this is a completely different topic, but on the same note, he has a much slower burst than the other 80 carry, than the other assassins to kill an 80 carry. He has his strong points, his dueling and everything, but this kind of nerf will... I mean, again, this is where I don't want to draw any conclusions yet, because I haven't seen exactly how slow it actually is, but if there's never, like, if the wind-up time becomes much, much longer, well, it's going to be much harder to consecutively hit your pro combos, I'm assuming. But let's not sharpen our pitchforks instantly before we've seen the nerf. Or, you know, if they decide this is a bad idea, though it's already on the patch notes, so I'm assuming this is going to go on live. I don't want to go out and say that this is going to destroy ZED, because, you know, we all ZED players have we've kind of learned to bend over and accept whatever nerfs, direct or indirect, we have to deal with. And oftentimes nerfs are not as big as they seem on paper, but something that I have an issue with in terms of Riot's way of nerfing things is, I think if you think Zed is too strong right now, which I cannot fathom how you would think that, but if you think Zed is way too strong right now, this is the wrong nerf. This is the wrong nerf to, well, make him, I guess, not OP. If you want to make a champion less OP, less frequently picked, and have others rise a little bit more, don't punish players who have spent a lot of time learning a champion in and out and getting really used to it. Don't punish that. Don't punish dedicated players by saying we're going to change a fundamental, just a core aspect of the champion because of arguments like that. If you really think he's too broken, nerf the damage on his extra damage on his W. Say, well, you know, flat stats are boring, remove the extra damage on W. That is a much healthier way of nerfing, I guess, than just removing or changing, making it slower and more sluggish. It's, well, I guess that's at least my take on it, as I am rambling on, super tired. And the reason why I didn't wait with this video was because for once, I wanted to not be, I wanted to for once have a video that was relevant, I guess. Because I've kind of never really been on point with relevant videos, like many other YouTubers are. But, yeah, right. So I think I made my spontaneous thoughts clear. So this is what I thought immediately when I saw the nerfs. I made this video literally 5 minutes after I was tweeted at by Chakras. So yeah, I guess we'll see how it turns out and not go rioting towards Riot before rioting at. I actually don't know. I'm not English. I can get away with not knowing that. before we Riot at Riot, let's see how it plays out. But in my opinion, this is not a good way to nerf a champion if you think the champion is too strong, or if you, as I said, I'm going in circles now. If you think it's too strong, there are better ways of nerfing. If you think it's an exploit that is not unhealthy, and there are other exploits in the game that are seen as features. The line is very thin. There is no one really complaining about this kind of this situation on ZED, and really, if you're afraid of ZED destroying your Season 6, Season 2 flashback by making 80 carries gods, you're looking at the wrong assassin, because he's not going to be the most scary assassin for 80 carries. I promise you that. So I don't see the reasoning for this nerf at all. The only one I could see argued is it's an exploit, and they're deeming this more of an exploit than other exploits that are seen as features. But in either case, I have rambled on long enough, and I really need to sleep. Well, I actually have to edit this video and upload it, and fix all the tags and all that bullshit, but wonderful. It's been a pleasure hosting y'all. I am sorry for missing Thursday's ZED school. I've been busy with school. And I'm sorry for once again being stuck in Diamond at the end of the season. But I've already made too many depressed Twitter tweets about Twitter tweets, really. Too many emo tweets about that already. In either case, it's been a pleasure hosting y'all. I'll see y'all next time. And don't go riding at Riot before you've seen the Nerf fireworks. I'll see y'all. Peace.